we have many important people tonight. Very well-known people in the community, our Consul General, and many others. It would take too long to name everyone. We have a special guest, Elizabeth Bettina, who, as you all know, is the author of It Happened in Italy. She's been very busy today. The Consul General was just telling me that this is her third stop. Today she visited with Italian students from Whitney Young and also St. Ignatius High School. And this is her third stop, so she's very, very busy promoting her book. I would like to welcome our Consul General, and he will tell you more about Elizabeth Bettina and about the book that she has written. Our Consul General, Alessandro Motta.
Welcome to everybody, buonasera, good evening. Che bello essere qui a Casa Italia, così numerosi, despite the Monday Night Football. So, good evening to everybody. I'm really happy to be here with you tonight. Thanks to Casa Italia, to il Centro Culturale di Casa Italia. Thanks to Tony Turano, the chairman of Casa Italia, thanks to Mr. Fornelli. Your commitment allow us to be here with you, and we are very glad because personally I felt that we need to come here, to bring some events here, because there is a need for Italian culture, and we have to respond to this demand. And this is a perfect occasion. Yesterday marked a very important day for the Italian community in this region. Yesterday was a day in which a new light was shed on a largely silent chapter in the recent history of Italy. As for the first time, the Illinois Holocaust Museum and Education Center acknowledged the positive deeds of many Italians during the tragic years of World War II and the persecutions against the Jews, and also bestowed to 2 Italian citizens, to great and brave men, a permanent and a very special recognition. After having been rewarded by the Yad Vashem Holocaust Memorial in Jerusalem with the title of the Righteous Among the Nations, an acknowledgement used by the State of Israel to describe non-Jews who risked their life during the Holocaust to save Jews from extermination at the hands of the Nazis. These 2 Italian heroes were officially introduced on the Wall of the Righteous with the dedication of new plaques on the Ferro Fountain at the museum in Skokie. What is also remarkable, in my view, is that the event was the result, not at all easy to achieve, of strong teamwork, a common effort on the part of the many Italian-American organizations in Chicago, which, in spite of often pursuing different goals or interests, are united in the mission of protecting the image and the honor of this community, under the leadership of the Consulate General of Italy. This indeed proves the strength of our community when we are united and when we all work together. I don't want to forget anybody, therefore allow me to say that we also need to thank for yesterday's event the unwavering research work of deeply committed people who joined our action for mere passion, quest for justice and sake of truth, such as author Elizabeth Bettina and Shael Segal, who I think that is not yet with us, but we are expecting him to come, a docent at the museum, whom I sincerely thank. Giovanni Palatucci and Father Francesco Brondello, the 2 Italians honored at the Illinois Holocaust Museum, were 2 among many other Italian rescues. So why have they been chosen for this honor? The answer is because they well represent the humanitarian and compassionate character of a large majority of the Italian people, and because the risks they took were even more commendable, as they exerted public functions and exploited their roles to save hundreds of Jews from the final solution. Palatucci, also known as the Italian Schindler, was chief of the foreigners office in the city of Fiume, northeast of Italy, now Croatia, during the Second World War. According to Yad Vashem, he used his authority to edit the necessary papers requested by law for the refugees, to falsify documents and visas, and to destroy all documented records of some 5,000 Jewish refugees living in the town, issuing them false papers and providing them with funds. Palatucci was arrested on September 13, 1944. He was condemned to death, but the sentence was later commuted to deportation to Dachau, where he died on February 10, 1945. Father Brondello, a priest in a small village of the Italian Alps, was only 23 when, after the armistice with the Allies in 1943, he found himself at the geographical epicenter of Nazi deportation and started a localized resistance with the help of various partisan groups. Don Brondello used his knowledge of the surrounding mountains and his ability to master the tortuous path that linked nearby villages, German military posts, and partisan secret highways to bring food and other commodities to dozens of Jewish families hidden in the mountains. Don Francisco hid as many refugees as he could in convents, in other institutions presided over by nuns, and in local houses. After having fed them and provided all necessary supplies, he organized and distributed forged identity papers in collaboration with a partisan organization. Don Brondello was eventually detained by the German police, tortured, and put in prison until the end of the war. Don Francesco Brondello is now retired and leads a quiet existence in the village of Fontanelle, close to the Piedmont Alps. The celebration of such heroic acts of courage and disregard towards one's personal safety, realized by many Italian righteous, the most famous but also the unnamed and less known, is the reason why we are gathered here tonight at Casa Italia, one of the main centers of the Italian-American community of the Chicago area. In actual fact, on the occasion of the well-deserved public recognition of Palatucci and Brondello, and in the year of the celebration of the 150th anniversary of Italy's unification, we found it particularly fitting to tell again the story of the numerous brave Italians who risked their lives and, in many cases, paid the ultimate sacrifice to save Jews from the Nazi persecutions. It is true that throughout Europe there were thousands of unnamed righteous Gentiles. Everybody knows about Schindler, of course, and much has been rightfully told about many other heroes who saved Jewish lives, for example in Poland, Denmark, Lithuania, or Bulgaria. But much fewer people know that approximately 80% of the almost 40,000 Jews in Italy were saved, whereas the average in European occupied territories has been only 20%. These figures, I underscore, are recognized by historians and Jewish authorities. How was it possible? How come it happen in Italy? Is it for the Catholic ethic of many Italians? Is it for the fact that the Jewish community was very well integrated in the rest of the Italian society? Is it for a humanitarian revulsion at the Nazis' policies? Is it because Italians did not really support the fascist regime? Or is it because Italians are reluctant to follow the rules, especially if perceived as bad rules? I don't have a definitive answer. And to tell the truth, this topic was not a priority in the agenda of the Consulate General until a couple of years ago. Then, for the first time, a group of Italian-American associations brought to my attention the idea of discussing with the recently opened Illinois Holocaust Museum the opportunity of promoting a better knowledge of the history of Jews in Italy. And for the first time, more or less in the same period, I met Elisabeth and Bettina. Elisabeth is the author of the book It Happened in Italy, a collection of stories of Gentile Italians, a remarkable assortment of survivors' recounts, authentic pictures and documents, some of which really poignant. We'll be hearing more about it in a few minutes. However, let me acknowledge the fact that, having been every day more emotionally involved in the incredible stories of Gentile Italians, discovered by chance while looking into her grandmother's souvenirs,
She has